Hey guys, welcome to my first episode of this Minecraft Hacks series. I'm not sure how many episodes there's gonna be, but I had this fun idea that I would show you guys how to basically hit the ground running in a new world so that you are self-sustaining and ready to just build and go after your big projects as soon as possible without wasting much time on the onset. Now, I've tried to film this video a few times, and every time I try to film it, I keep getting it, and this is crazy because a lot of times when I'm looking for good seeds, I find horrible ones. I've spent like the past 10 minutes looking for a really bad seed to show you guys, and I couldn't find any. I kept getting great seeds. But now, alas, I am on an island. And while this is horrible, it's kind of the worst thing I could have thought of. I was actually thinking I would start in a desert and show you what that would be like. This is worse than that. So, what we're going to need right off the bat, we're going to need to find wool to make a bed. We're going to need coal to make torches. And we're going to need food so that we don't starve to death. Those are the three things we need to survive the first night in Minecraft. And the worst thing about this island is that we don't have any wood. So if you were to spawn on an island and you want it to be just super hardcore, I would suggest and have to insist that you turn up your what is it called? I think it's your visibility. It's not your visibility. It's your view distance. You got to turn up your view distance so that you can see what the heck's around you. So as you can see, I did. My computer handles it pretty well. And even if your computer doesn't handle it, turn it up and then turn it down when you're done. But anyway, check this out. So I turned it up, and over there in the distance, I see wood. We're gonna have to go over there if we're gonna survive anything in this world. No way there are sheep on the island. Thank God. That is actually so helpful. So as you can see, we're gonna get wool. You know this. I mean, I had no idea those sheep were gonna be there. That's really nice. Also, I'm actually really glad we got sugarcane too. I mean, it's not the most useful thing, but sometimes it can be hard to find some sugarcane. So it's nice to have it. All of anything plantable, I like to get right in the beginning of the game for sure. So right now you can see I'm just coming around, breaking some of these, trying to get some seeds for wheat. I don't think they won't drop anything if we punch them to death. We need at least a weapon to get wool from them. So I need to get some wood here and make a weapon as soon as possible. Now, we're in an extreme situation here, which means that I'm going to have to wait until all of these leaves despawn so that I could get as many saplings as possible and plant my own trees later. Okay, so I collected all the wood, and as you can see, we're already getting some saplings here, which is going to be really useful. So I'm going to pick that up. That's going to let us plant our own trees later to keep our wood supply up, which we're going to have a very limited wood supply, unless I swim around and get all this wood. That's a little dangerous because when night falls, which is going to be soon, it's midday now, we're going to be sort of up a creek. And I want to get back from where we started. I want to go back to our spawn point. That's one of the things I wanted to show you in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and make a crafting table here. We're going to process all of this wood. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to need some of this wood for coal. So we're going to leave some of that for charcoal in a second. We're going to try to use as little wood as possible. There's that. Get some sticks. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a sword so that we can kill these guys. Excellent. And as a matter of fact, we are going to make a boat. A boat is going to be most critical here, as we're actually going to be able to go for that wood in a boat. That'll give us enough time to get back. So we're going to need the boat. We don't have any stone yet, so I can't make my charcoal. I do need a pickaxe. You always need a pickaxe because you can't get stone without a pickaxe. So there we go. We're going to pick this up. Hopefully we're going to get the wool we need, so night will no longer be a problem. But I can tell you right now, food is going to worry me. Oh, man. I lost the wool to the depths. Am I going to die for this? I hope not. This is bad though, guys. Ooh. Yep, I'm drowning. I'm not sure the wool was that valuable, but There we go. We got what we needed. And honestly, we don't have much. So, hey, let's get him away from the shoreline. There we go. Give me that wool. All right, that's the 3 wool we need. I'm actually gonna take a second and just build our bed right now, just so I know that we have one. Oh, see, we need some wood planks. All right, that's actually really lucky. So we have our bed. That's gonna serve us very well, especially in these hard conditions. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna go to these 2 islands, get the wood from them, and then we're gonna go back to spawn. And I'm gonna explain why we have to go back to spawn when we get there. So I've actually come across some clay here, and I might as well pick it up. So I'm going to get that too. Okay, night is falling, but I'm still moving away, and I'm still being a bit risky. Why am I being risky? Well, as long as I can beat the sun to this island, there shouldn't be any mobs that spawn on it. Something useful to know, especially if you're a beginner, is that mobs don't spawn within a radius of, like, I think 25 blocks from you. So, if I'm 25 blocks, if this island is no bigger than 25 blocks, there shouldn't be any bad mobs to spawn on it while I'm here. So you really want to stay in the center, because you really want to make sure the 25 radius rule stands up. So a really nice thing about oak trees is their leaves have a chance of dropping apples too. So as you can see, I'm holding some food here because the trees I was breaking gave me some food, gave me these apples. So I'm going to go ahead and eat that, and that's what's going to sustain me here as we go back over there. Alright guys, so I went ahead, took a nap, woke up. After I cleared the island of trees, I knew that no bad guys could spawn, no mobs. I call them bad guys. And so here we are, but I'm going to break this bed. Now remember, if you break the bed, you lose your spawn point. So what we just did is a bit risky, but I'm okay with the risk. This island was good to us. We got 14 saplings total and 1 birch. So unfortunately, we're not going to be replanting the birch tree here. But we can do a bit of reforesting, just because we did a lot of deforesting. It's the aesthetic side of me, it's the environmentalist side of me. Alright, we're going to go now back to our original island. Here's our boat. And I'll catch you there. So I'm not going to lie, I got a little bit lost. But these 2 saplings, which haven't grown yet, were my little markers to let me know I've been here and this is the direction I need to go. Hi, sheep. Darn, as you can see, I crashed too hard into the shore and we lost our boat. Well, that's okay, because we are back. We are right where we want to be. So I'm going to go ahead and break some of this grass and get as many seeds as possible, because food is going to be an issue here. Alright, so there we go. Picked up a bunch of seeds. We now have 41 seeds. I'm a fan of this little island here, but we don't have any iron right now. So we have 2 choices. We can go ahead and plant a little bit of wheat, or we can make a shovel, dig out some of our island here, so that we have more room next to these water blocks, which will make our wheat grow faster. Considering that we will be going hungry soon, I think we should go for the slightly uglier but more practical approach. So as you can see, I cleared out this little area for us to make our little wheat farm. Something you should know about wheat is it grows fastest if it's not horizontally placed next to itself. So we're going to do a pattern like this to get our wheat to grow as fast. Oh, that's a mistake. As fast as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and plant. As you'll see, even though that's a mistake, it's not a big deal because I can just skip that one and not plant in it. Wheat diagonally grows, I think, twice as fast. And then now that all of these blocks are hydrated, up to 8 blocks away from the water, we'll also see faster weights. My speech impediment. It's faster rates of wheat growth, which we're gonna want, especially since, I mean, like I said, I mean, there's no question about how hungry we are here. So that's it. There's our wheat farm. That's gonna start growing, and it better grow fast because we're already down three bits of food here. We could eat rotten flesh, but that's gonna make us hungry, so I'm trying to avoid it. Okay, so now that this is done and this is gonna be growing, it's time to start our mine shaft so that we can Man, so that we can get better tools. I mean, honestly, I've never even used wood this long. So I'm going to come right here to the middle of our island, and I'm going to dig out just like that. This 3 by 1 tube, or I suppose rectangle is a better word. I'm thinking tube because we're going deep with it. So a few things. When you're digging down like this, you're always going to be able to come back up because, I mean, for every 1 block you dig down, you're gaining 3 blocks in your inventory. But I don't really like to tower up with cobblestone, so it's always nice to have an extra different block, such as either sand or dirt, which was a good byproduct of digging this out. We got a little bit of dirt, and now I was able to call them up no problem. So now we have some stone. I'm going to make a furnace, and the furnace is going to let us make some charcoal because we haven't found any coal yet. Now wood is precious, so we're not going to spend too much here, but we're going to try to get about 4, let's do 5. And we're also going to need, let's get some birch wood. There we go. Actually, birch wood is more rare than the oak we have, so we might as well use oak. We can fuel it with these planks, and this is going to give us charcoal, and we can use charcoal, first of all, to give us better fuel for this furnace, and as lighting for the torches, which is mainly what we're doing right now so that I can light up the island. In the meantime, let's go ahead and plant these trees. We want to give them at least 3 blocks in between. 3 by 3 will get this tree farm started. So, you should know that sunlight, well, sorry, not sunlight. Sunlight does affect tree growth, but water doesn't. So you don't need these trees to be hydrated. What you do need is them to be exposed to light. So our torches are actually going to come in handy here to help these trees grow faster. Oh, and our 1 birch sapling. So night's falling, and we gotta light this island up before things get dangerous. How do we know that mobs won't spawn? We're going to go ahead and we're going to hit F3, and we're going to see here there's this BL, which stands for block lighting. As long as that is above 7, mobs will not be able to spawn on the ground. So, over here, as you can see, it's now 2. They can spawn in this area. Over here, it's 13, because the torch gives off a 14 light level. Gives off a light level of 14. Look at that! We have our first tree. The torch gives off a light level of 14. And my head block is 1 block above the torch, which is why BL is reporting a 13 here. However, my feet are in 14 light. So, again, let's make this whole island light level over 8 so that we don't get any spawns. We're going to move this, put them over here. Something I've forgotten is we could just sleep through the night because we have a bed. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then there will be no mobs spawning. As you can see, the block level still reports 7 even though the sun's out. I'm going to go ahead and finish this pattern and get back to you guys. The torches are gone. Why? That pattern I was showing you actually isn't the most efficient pattern for above ground lighting, and as such I figured I'd show you the right way to do it. 1, 2, 3, drop. 1, 2, 3, drop. This pattern is repeatable in both directions, and if you repeat this pattern, you will have no mobs spawning, ever. So you could just tile this across anything, and you'll have no mobs spawning on that land. So what you want is the 1, 2, 3 torch pattern, and you want to tile that to any land that you want to be mob proof. Unfortunately, we don't have the coal right now to make this possible for our little island here, but that is the pattern you want. Also, as I stated earlier, the torches give these trees light, and the light they give them helps the trees grow at night and makes them grow faster, which in our case even gets us a little bit of food. The wheat farm can benefit from the same thing. Now, I'm all about keeping patterns as they're supposed to be kept, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3. And this is how we're going to spread light to this farm. Given our dire circumstances, it's become more imperative to provide light to our food sources than it is to actually make our island mob proof. So in the early game, I'd like to tell you too that you don't want to replant this tree until all of the leaves are gone. Otherwise, you might not get the apples or whatever that you need from these leaves. Usually, this isn't such a big deal, but because we're in such a tough situation here on this island, every little apple and leaf counts. And as you can see, we've got more saplings, so I'm just going to go ahead and plant those down too. Alright guys, so as you can see, night has fallen. I used some of the wood we gathered to finish creating these torches by making charcoal out of the wood. As you can see, I burned the planks here. And now we're ready to focus on the mine, which is one of the most efficient things that you can do and that I've wanted to show you in this video. So let's get to it. Before we get to the mine, I just wanted to say goodbye to all my wooden tools. I absolutely hate using wooden tools. And despite this being a waste, I'm glad I've graduated away from them. Goodbye, friends. I will never need you again. Alright, so the mine shaft design is based around this 3x1 rectangle. We're going to keep going down with this pattern all the way till we get to block height 11, which you can see here on our Y coordinate. We're at 64 now. We're going to have to go down all the way to 11. So I'm just going to jump through, basically, including anything interesting that happens between now and then. But the goal is just to shoot all the way down to block height 11. Block height for the Y coordinate 11. Okay, let's go. You never want to dig directly below you because you might drop into lava, or you just might have a big drop into a cavern and die. Bad, bad, bad. You want to dig like this. Dig down as far as you can like that. Then just hop down, turn, and continue. As you can see, we found iron, so that's great. We're going to be out of the Stone Age soon. However, the first iron, well, you'll see. Basically, this design, this mineshaft design, requires us to make buckets with our iron, 2. I always like to make 2 buckets, so good thing we found the iron. But it might be gone before we know it. It's almost like we've already spent it. It's already been invested. So on this level here, and the gravel's a good marker for it, we can hear some noises. When I dig a mine shaft like this, I always prefer there to be no caverns or anything. That's like the best luck you can have. If you find a cavern, just sort of drop down and keep digging. Just go all the way down to the height 11. However, if it's a cavern full of bad guys, I always say bad guys, you know, barricade the mine so that they can't get in, right? So build a little wall around it out of cobblestone, do whatever you have to do, but protect your 3x1 rectangle going deeper into the earth. Ooh, I hear the bubbling sounds of lava. We need to be careful. So we actually went too far. We're at 9 right now. We're going to go up to 10 and to 11. This is where we want to be. Fill that in with dirt for the time being. This is going to be where we build the entire mine. This is the best place to get diamonds, and I'll explain why in a second. Essentially, this block level, well, yeah, this block here is 10. We're standing at height 10. So, 10 is the lowest possible appearance of diamonds, and it's the beginning of the lava layer. You don't want to be on 10 because while you're digging sideways, you might just drop into lava. It's really inconvenient. So being one layer above is really convenient because you don't have to deal with that 99% of the time. The other thing is that ores, including diamond, appear in veins. So there'll usually be 2 like this or like that, right? So that could be a vein. If the diamond ore is appearing on level 10, there's very high chances that you'll see it another piece on level 11. So an example is, if there's diamond there on level 10, you can see it exposed here. So you'll know to dig for it, and you'll be able to access that diamond. Now, the other benefit is that diamond is from 10 to 16. So this means you get to peek into layer 10, basically, and get any diamond that might be there. You always see layers 11 and, or excuse me, 12 and 13, and you get to see level 14, which will also let you peek into 15, since, you know, if you have the vein, you'll see it like that. I find that this works extremely well, and I think that simply showing you this, you're going to see how many resources we get from it. Look, we found some redstone. Woohoo! You'll find a lot of that down here too. So unfortunately, we didn't get enough of the iron I would have hoped coming down here, and so we're going to have to do a bit of mining for it before we continue. Yay! After much digging, we finally found some iron. Oh, and a good vein too. Oh, great vein. The other thing I've done is I've spaced out these torches so that if you notice our block light never goes below 8 down here. That means that we aren't going to have any mobs spawning in our branch mine. So we are going to need a lot of ladders. So right now I'm going to make about 50 ladders. Ladders are what's going to be what connects us to the surface. So cool, with just the wood that we had, we already have enough ladders to make this happen. It's also very impressive that we haven't found coal. I have to say that this is definitely one of the hardest maps I've ever played. To have found no coal and for it to have been that hard to find iron is pretty impressive. Not to mention with our food situation and everything, it's been pretty fun to play on such a hard map, especially for a tutorial about getting started and learning how to play the game. Alright, so now that we're at the bottom of our branch mine, we've come to the height that we've wanted. We have 2 buckets ready to go. What we're going to need to do is tunnel right back up on the middle block. We made it 3 wide for a reason. We're going right up on the middle block. I'm going to use cobblestone because I don't mind that being the permanent feature in this mine shaft. It's not the prettiest block, but it gets the job done. I'm going to go just like that, one above the ground. Now the next order of business is to get 2 of these buckets filled with water. Great. So now we've got our buckets full of water. We need to make a sign. So let's go ahead and make our sign. And actually, well, no, not yet. I was going to say we need to make our trapdoor. Man, look at this. Our forest is coming together really nicely here. So how do we get down there without dying? Well, we're going to use the water trick. So I'm just going to put the water down there, and then I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to jump in. Oh, wow. That was a huge failure. Good thing we have our bed here. Bad news is all of the iron is at the bottom of the mine shaft, along with our ladders and everything else. And it looks like the water is about to disappear. Maybe I can beat the water down there. I did. I managed to beat the water in. This is weird. I'm not complaining though. Of all the difficulties I've had making this video. Well, there you go, guys. You know, that's just the way it is. Sometimes you plan everything and, you know, you still have a hitch like that. Alright, cool. Well, now that we're down here, that was supposed to be a nice soft landing. Unfortunately, that was not the case. We put our sign there, and then we just have to put 2 water blocks above the sign. This will ensure that we never slam into the ground again as hard as we just did. There's our 2 water blocks. And now we're just going to build our ladders to get out of this thing. Alright, and now just to make it a bit more fancy, we're going to go ahead and make a button and a trapdoor. Come over here, drop our trapdoor, drop our button right on top, and now when we stand over our trapdoor, everything is failing for me today. That's hysterical. You want to make it so that the trapdoor is actually on this block, so that when you walk out, that part stays and this part drops. So we walk in, and we're in our mine. No stairs, none of that. This is this is the fastest way in and out, and you get to just hold down the W key while you're climbing these ladders. So that's it. That's the end of this video. What we covered today was actually through very difficult circumstances. We managed to find wool, make our bed. We got wool, we've got saplings to plant. We used light to make sure that our saplings could go at night, and we've got a very healthy tree farm going here. We also discovered the best pattern to plant wheat, and we planted it next to hydrated soil to make it grow as fast as possible, but unfortunately, this actually didn't provide us with any food today. The apples from these trees ended up being our greatest source of food. After that, surviving the first night, we couldn't find any coal. Finding coal would make our lives a lot easier, but instead we used the wood of these trees to make charcoal. Charcoal gave us these torches, and the torches lit up our island to prevent bad guys from spawning. We learned that the best pattern to prevent bad guys from spawning above ground is a 3 space between the torches. And then we moved on to our mine. Our mine being the central point of any new world, really. When you want to build a new world, you want to be able to build your new projects. You want it to feel like creative. You want to have your armor ready. You want to have the best tools. And this sort of mine, for me, is just, it's the best way to do it. You get down in 1 second by pressing that button, and you just hold W to come up. There's really no better early game mine shaft, and of course, the branch mining down there, to achieve this. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please go ahead and click that like button. I'm new. I'm getting my legs here. If you have any suggestions for me, please comment. I'd love to read your comments. And if you want to see more, subscribe. I also have my Fable series, which you can tune into, and it's just a Let's Play series, and I should be making more Minecraft videos in the future. Thanks for listening, guys. And thanks for sticking with me throughout some embarrassing failures, like me slamming into the bottom of my mine shaft. It was pretty comical, though. Alright, guys, my last nugget of information here, which I forgot to mention before, is that the way that this branch mine works is you dig one branch out really far like that, and then you come in, and every 3 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, new line, right? You got to start correctly, so you start there, right? 1, 2, 3, line, 1, 2, 3, line, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. This is how you make a very efficient branch mine. And what you're going to end up doing is this will be your main line going away from here, which is your entrance. And then all of these will be your branches. And these will be where you find most of your diamonds and stuff. I like to put torches on the left, so that when I'm going away from the entrance, the torches all end up on the left, and when I'm going back towards the entrance, they're all on the right. So if I'm ever in here and I'm not sure, I'm kind of lost, I don't remember which way to go, the torches will be on the right. I'll pop up in here, and I'll say, okay, well here they're on the left, so I know this way to my entrance. So anyway, guys, that's the end of my tips for the day. I'm going to light this up down here so we don't get any mob spawning. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a nice day.